here in 2 seconds, you're gonna know exactly where we're at. Oh, recognize her? Oh, talker. Shush. Welcome back. This is the north end where the dog lives. He lives across the street. Anyway, I think there's fish here. He's had a bump. That's Billy and Kai's Custom Jigs. And last cast, bait and tackle. Anyway, looks like some feeding going on out there. He had a bump. Yep. We cruised by Old Faithful, the culvert, over by us down south. Friend of ours, JP, was there. Not much going on. But it was hot earlier. So yeah, it was the middle of the night. We just had the wee-woos coming through, and I haven't heard the yip-yaps yet, the coyotes. Every time you got sirens coming through out here in the county, the coyotes light up. Let's see if we can get some fish. First, I gotta fix something. I lost my weighted cork, and Billy made me a new one. You see, it's got nuts, 2 of them. So I guess that's a male cork. Anyway, dumb jokes aside, I was in such a hurry to tie up. Do you see what I did wrong? You see what's missing? Do you see it? Do you see it? I don't see it either because it's not there. It's missing. That's why we don't see it. Let's put it on. It means I gotta dismantle. You know what I'm actually wondering? I'm not wondering it anymore. I was wondering if I even had a sleeve with me in my bag. Of course, I got all kinds of supplies in the shop. Can't bring it all at once. So, there we go. That's what we want. Put the light stick right there in that. Oh no. Dropping stuff. Where are you going? This is easy peasy to do. Just means we have to retie one thing, and that's the main line to the weighted swivel, which is a 1/16 ounce weighted swivel. What we gotta do here is, let's go ahead and show you this. I know, anyway, I prefer to use these beads as cork stoppers rather than the knots because I'm fishing mono. The knots, the slip knots that you can buy at Walmart or wherever, they seem to work better on braid than they do mono. Don't get me wrong, they'll work for a second, but then they'll loosen up and then all of a sudden they're not working. Always tough at first to get this on here. Oh, I forgot to bring the easy checker, but homeboy here got a nice one. Look at that.
He's all texed out.
Yeah.
Nice black.
Yep.
Well, we can do that. You want to keep fish?
No, I'm not. I'm catching fish. Excellent. Yeah, you're right. 2 things making me feel encouraged. I'm ready to fish, and the fish are biting. Well, not enough to tell a friend. It was just one fish, right, Billy?
Right.
But they're flopping and popping out there. So let's get to work here. Pretty sure I know who exactly that is. Trying to beat me to the spot. Gotcha. Whoa. He came racing up out of that little culvert. You can hear the water. Look at that. Whoa. And quick release. Yeah, you're right. So avocado chartreuse, 2-inch stinger tail, Kai's Custom Jigs. Link is in the description. Yeah, you're right.
line, people. I need to put something under and make a point down.
Well, you ain't lying. It is bright. Not worth much here tonight. Okay, so we've moved spots. Have you ever heard the term, the meek shall inherit the earth? That's where we're at. What? I wanted to show you these aliens that moved in over here. I forget what kind of thistle, but these are really cool thistles. Creates this really big bloom. See, that is going to open up eventually. We do not want to rub up against them because they're prickly sons. Look at this one. Some of these plants have more than one bloom, you see, but they're usually clustered like that. Look at that. We get purple when it opens up. So here's a better looking one. Pretty cool. I know people that like to eat these. Yeah, see, there's the culvert, y'all. Small plastic one. Goes to a pond over on the other side of the road, but there's a fence. In Texas, you can't fish over a fence. Anyway, this might have yellow bass. You said usually this time of year yellow bass show up here?
Yeah.
It's well after midnight, so we're headed back up to the house now. It's not a great fishing trip, and people texting us asking about this abandoned side-by-side. Well, I bet it broke down and they left it here.
Oh, cool. But that, there's a purse in here.
There's stuff in there?
There's a purse, a lady's purse.
Huh.
Hello?
There's clothes there.
Yep, there's stuff. Huh, this is curious. So apparently this has been here a while. I didn't see it, but my friend saw it when we drove by, headed to the spots that we just fished. When you live out here, you get to know all the side-by-sides that come up and down the road, and I do not recognize this one per se.
We left at 11, and it was sitting here when we left, and it's what, almost 2 now?
Yeah, something like that. And I came through here right after sunset, and it was not here. Let's see. It is 1:54 right now, so
I wonder if I should call the sheriff's department.
maybe they're flashing their lights. Maybe they know what it's up. Maybe it's theirs. They're still flashing their lights. Like, we're not trying to take your cigarettes. They stop at it? They just went on by. They just wanted us to get out of the way.
Well, the fuck, they can't go around that shit?
They're probably townies. Well, they could have broke down, but it is so far off the road, and there's a purse with a phone in it.
Yeah, that's my concern. We're heading back up to the house, so we pulled over to check it out. There was a lady's purse that was still sitting in there with the phone and stuff, but nobody's around this thing at all. It's a racing class outside? An ATV?
It's a Polaris.
Polaris?
Yeah. See the wire. Jar of food. And yeah, there's a phone in the purse, a flashlight. clothing. It's like if you broke down, if your side-by-side broke down and you had to walk back home, why would you leave your purse with your phone? Well, I tell you why you would leave all that stuff. Because you're not of sound mind, possibly, right? About maybe a little bit over a week ago, we had some interesting events occur out here. We had a dude shoot his wife down the road, right around the corner from here. There's always something. Sometimes people think just nothing happens out here. You'll come out to a place like this and you'll talk to people and they're like, oh, why'd you move here? I don't like it here. Nothing ever happens. Well, stuff does happen. And I came out here because I love it out here. I like the fishing and all that. But there are things that occur outside of my domain, outside of my reality, outside of what I do. Because lots of people, other people have other lives, other realities, and sometimes you cross paths with them, and sometimes you find an abandoned side by side with a lady's purse and a phone in it. Could be a perfectly good explanation. It could be a crazy story also. We probably will not get the explanation or the story, but the sheriff's department is going to come out and check it out. I'm just glad both of us are smart enough not to actually touch anything.
Yeah.
So I'm actually really tired. I got rudely woke up this morning. Right. He's lucky he was out of town because they knocked on his door too, and then they knocked on mine, and I was in the bedroom with 3 dogs, and all of a sudden I had 3 dogs singing, but they weren't harmonizing, and I had on the door, and I heard voices, and the first thing that came to my mind was, cops don't knock like that. That sounds like Jehovah's Witness. You might think, you know, that's a bit far-fetched, like all of a sudden just think that, and you just got woke up by barking dogs, but not my first rodeo. This is the first time I've come across an abandoned Polaris with a lady's pink purse and a phone in it in the middle of the night. But this morning, it was definitely Jehovah's Witness knocking on the door. So I got rudely awoken by that, and I just stayed in the bedroom, and then all of a sudden they were gone. And then later on, I got woke back up by some other person knocking on the door. That was a legit thing, not Jehovah's Witness, because it was a light tap, 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 not a rude pip, 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 pip. You know, cops, when they knock on your door, it's like boom, boom, boom. This was like, I don't know what it is, but I've ran into Jehovah's Witness all over this country, and they're all about the same. You know, they're wearing outdated clothing and they're persistent, but the ones here in Texas have an aggressive edge to them. So I am not in the world's best mood because my sleep got disturbed by kooky people. Well, at least I didn't have to trade words with them. Anyway, we got to camp out here on the side of the road in the dark and wait for the deputies to come out and hit that with their beams and figure out what's going on. Maybe, like I said, there's a perfectly good explanation why it's there. Maybe they were a little inebriated. Maybe they wrecked. Maybe, you know, so maybe they just innocently forgot the purse. Maybe something else is up. It's just a good thing to, like, check all your P's and Q's and, you know, be aware.
You see right here where they turn, right quick.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out.
They were trying and ended up going that way.
And you'll see they're parked pretty much almost smack dab up against that support line.
Yeah, that.
Not touching it though, but aimed right at it. So they, you know, there's no evidence that they crashed there. They parked it there. That's an intentional parking spot. But there's no skid marks over here. There's no hard ruts in the ground. It's just grass bent over. What's this right here? Oh, that's nothing. I thought
Yeah.
maybe there was oil on them.
That's definitely.
Yeah, you
right
see,
where they turned around.
right here is where they came in. You can see
Because the
this
rest
is
of it right
pushed down. Mystery. You never know what's going to happen when you go fishing in the middle of the night out in the county. Well, at least we're not where like several counties border up to each other and then people want to argue about jurisdiction. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's like the perfect place to drop a body, right across like where 3 counties come together.
This is fresh oil too.
Oh yeah, here we go. Who's that from? That's kind of fresh.
Yeah, not sure. But there's fresh oil all through here. Like it, almost like if somebody's car stopped.
Billy thinks he heard someone running up here with flip-flops. I'm gonna try to get a dog loose. We found the owner.
I thought I heard somebody coming down. We saw the person there, so I called the sheriff's department. They're actually on their way.
Oh, well, shit. They don't need to be here. No, like for real. I was trying to fish, but ran out of gas, so.
Oh,
But, you know, it's okay. My boyfriend's up the road. He's coming.
Okay.
We seen somebody down here, and I was like, hold on.
I heard you running,
Yeah.
and well, let me call them back and let them know.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I saw the person there, and I'm like, I'm an ex-cop, and I'm like, I saw the person, I'm like, no, something's not right. So, yeah, let me call them.
you're welcome.
Have a good evening.
Have a good night. No worries. Just like I told you, people, sometimes it's a perfectly good explanation. They ran out of gas. Sometimes it's a chaotic, crazy story and someone's bleeding somewhere. Yeah, you're right. I bet a lot of y'all were hoping for the chaotic, crazy story rather than the simple explanation. They ran out of gas. And the reason why we didn't recognize the side-by-side is because they're fairly new out here. I'd seen that lady once before, and it was a few days ago. She was walking down the road with a fishing rod, and I've never seen her. I was like, I never seen that lady before. But whatever, yeah, go have fun. Catch some fish. Yeah, you're right. So, new people, that's why we didn't recognize side-by-side, because it's new to out here, pretty much. And it was in a weird context, abandoned, sitting on the side of the road and with a purse and all that. But, yep, mystery solved. Yep, thanks for watching, liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing, being members of the channel, and I will see y'all next time.